Hey, my name is Trayvon and you're watching Politalks on RPTV. Today we're here with guest and mayoral candidate Ari GoldKind.
Trayvon, great to be here with you.
Great to be here.
Looking forward to this time together.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your background and what inspired you to run for mayor.
So it's interesting that we're sitting here in Regent Park because it really ties into my background. You may not know this, but I'm a criminal lawyer, so I spend my day in courthouses throughout the Toronto area. I serve a whole series of different communities. I've followed very closely what happens in Regent Park. I've spent some time here in the last couple of weeks, and it's just an incredible development, and this ties into why I'm running for mayor. Rob Ford last year was in another one of his drunken stupors, and this is before everything hit the fan. And I was walking with my best friend, and I said out loud as a joke, I could do a better job than this blank blank.
Yeah.
And my friend, who's an amazing woman, she said, "What'd you just say?" And I said, I didn't say anything. I was kidding. And she said, "No, say it again." And I said, "I could do a better job than this person." And she said, "You know, that's not a bad idea. You'd be great as a mayor given who you are, what you stand for, and what you believe." And here we are, and I'm sitting talking to Trayvon.
All right. Tell us a bit about your platform.
There are people like me who have done very well in life. And I didn't do well in life just because of my own hard work. I mean, I've worked hard, but I was born to certain parents. I was born in a certain area. I was born with advantages that many people who are in Toronto or who come to Toronto who make a better life, they don't have the same breaks that I've had. So my view is that somebody like me, through taxes, through investment in the city, should be investing more in the city, our transit, our housing, accessibility, our job markets, giving people a chance who haven't had the chance I've had. When you do that, you raise everybody up and you make Toronto the thing that everybody claims it is, which is Toronto the good.
There's a lot of debate centered around the transit plan. What are the issues and what do you support?
The thing that bothers me the most, and if you saw the news today, all we see are we have different candidates, the famous ones that you at home have heard of, where my subway is better than your LRT, my LRT is better than your streetcar, my map is better than your map. That is not how you plan transit. To me, you use the most cost-effective method for transit. We already know that LRTs are paid for throughout this city. You stop having every politician playing Mickey Mouse and comparing their plan and saying it's better. We have experts in this city who have devoted their lives to getting us moving, and of those of you who are at home watching this, you don't care whether it's a Chow plan or a Tory plan, you just want to be able to move through this city. Let's listen to the people who have spent their lives knowing and deciding how to get Toronto moving.
What will you do differently to support youth?
So let's talk about youth, and you know, there's a name, and I feel very old sitting here next to a young man like you, but there was this mayor a long time ago, not that long ago, named David Miller. And he had a plan called Transit City. And let's talk about what Transit City was, because it was about youth. It was about connecting parts of Toronto, the Jane and Finches, the Scarborough, the Rexdales, where young people who want to work, who want to have access to jobs, too hard to get around the city. So the whole idea was building LRTs and rapid transit so that somebody who lives in a part of the city that isn't as fortunate as another, I mean, I live at Spadina in St. Clair, I can be downtown to a job in 15 minutes. But when you live in certain areas that are left out in the burbs or not easy to get on, if you don't have a car, the whole idea of Transit City was to make it easier for people to get to work. There is nothing that can improve your life more as a young person than the ability to access the same kind of jobs that somebody who lives midtown can. So for me, jobs and youth comes down to dollars and cents and having an opportunity, and that's the centerpiece of my platform, which is people deserve a chance.
What is the role of arts in your vision of Toronto?
I love that you asked that. That's a different one that I don't get asked often enough. I talked about this last week on my show. I just started a show here at Radio Regent called The Truth with Ari GoldKind, and in fact, I'm doing my second one in about 20 minutes here, where the main guest today is Marcelo Sabalas, who is devoted to the arts in Toronto. We need to create a city where we stop cutting funding for piano lessons, arts programs, visual arts, and fashion. This is a city that everybody wants to be in, not because we have great strip malls, not because we have great parking lots. It's because we have a vibrant art scene. We have creative people. It's a city where people can come and live their passion. So rather than seeing the arts as charity, or as something to give a handout to. We need to actually invest in it. And why? Because when you invest in something clever, anybody at home knows you get a return on that investment. It is simple dollars and cents, and it is a belief in the power of the arts.
Census figures shows that Toronto is an incredibly diverse city. What will you do as a mayor to attract and retain immigrants and to promote social inclusion and diversity across economic lines?
That's a big, tough question, Trayvon, but the first thing we have to do is stop paying lip service the way so many politicians do when they go on their road shows to different areas of the city. You know, they'll show up at Thorncliffe and they'll make a whole bunch of promises saying, I care about you. But then they leave Thorncliffe and they go to the next parade or they go to the next street festival. We need to, as a city, because I'm not worried about retaining immigrants. My view is they're going to come. The idea is to stop ghettoizing immigrants in pockets of the city that they feel like they can't move out of, or if they want to stay there, not building the parks and infrastructure, shops and stores that somebody like me gets to enjoy. So how do you do that? You invest in Toronto community housing. You stop seeing it as something that we can allow to deteriorate because we're worried about dollars and cents and a few nickels and dimes. If you give people safe, stable homes, whether it be immigrants, whether it be low-income people, you are creating a motivation in them that they matter. And my view is when you keep sort of re-emphasizing the way the Fords do, that certain people of this city don't matter, you are creating a culture where people don't feel like they have to try. My views are, you need to give people the stimulus, the view that they matter in Toronto. That's what my platform is about.
How will you engage the public in discussions of issues?
What I've done, and Trayvon, like if you Google me or go to my Facebook, Ari for Mayor, or if you go to Twitter, @Ari GoldKind, you will see that I'm putting issues out that nobody else has the, what's the polite word for it, the guts to talk about. I talk about taxes. I talk about the police budget. Let's not forget what I do for a living. I deal with police every day. I know more about what goes on in that organization than anybody else running for mayor. So how do you engage people? You talk about the things that people at home are talking about at their dinner table and saying, why don't the famous candidates, the John Tories, the Olivia Chows, why don't they talk about these things? They keep making the promises, but we know that everybody makes promises that they don't keep. So hopefully there's enough people that want to be engaged with me to say, wait a minute, he's telling the truth about the challenges that Toronto faces. It may not be easy and digestible and popular, but unless you put in hard work, Trayvon, you know this, you're here, you're working hard today. If you don't put in hard work, you get nothing to show for it. That should be the motto of how we govern Toronto.
What trait will you look for in people you decide to appoint for leadership or committee positions?
That's a great question. What traits? You know, I don't get asked that often enough because the mayor's role is 1 out of 44. Regent Park is in a specific ward. The mayor doesn't have any more powerful vote than the councillor in Ward 44. What's my approach to leadership? Having a vision, standing for something, not making your own platform all about knocking the other people, but putting a vision of Toronto that we can be proud of, a transit system that we can brag about to other people rather than go, oh, it's our 1970s TTC in the 21st century. And when it comes to leadership, this is something very different about me. I want to be surrounded by people who may not agree with me. We have a mayor who only has people around him that are, again, what's a polite way of putting it, kissing his posterior. My view is I want to have people around me who don't agree with me. Do you know why that is? It makes me be able to make better decisions. I feel passionate about having the smartest people in the room. Whether they all like what I'm saying, that doesn't matter. We don't become smarter by having everybody agree.
Well, wow. Thanks, Ari, for joining our show.
My pleasure.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just hope people really can take a look at my website, www.ariformayor.com, Twitter @Ari GoldKind, and if you want to see more of what I'm talking about, go to YouTube and hit my town hall where for 1 hour and 20 minutes, I talk about the issues that matter, I take questions, and I do it, and this may shock you, unscripted.
Well, you heard him, guests. Check out his Twitter, check out his YouTube channel. Unfortunately, that's about all the time we have for today. You've been watching Politalks on RPTV. My name is Trayvon, and we're signing out.